I want to welcome you into my kitchen. My name is Irma, and of course this is Irma's Kitchen. I would like to impart a little bit of knowledge today on how to make something called Mondel bread. It's a family recipe. My mother, my father, and of course my children loved it. I think that it's something that should be passed on from generation to generation, and that's exactly what I'd like to do today. I would like to pass it, like we say in Shul, la dor va dor, from generation to generation. So this morning, the first thing I'd like to do is put on my apron. My mother and my grandmother never did anything without an apron, or as we say in Yiddish, a fachter. And we put on our apron so we don't make a schmutz of ourselves. Because with flour and sugar and dough, it just doesn't take much to get really schmutzy. So, Mondel bread is really very, very simple. It is 6 eggs, 2 cups of sugar, ground almonds, and I like the slivered almonds and I grind them myself. Baking powder, 4 heaping teaspoons full of baking powder, 2 tablespoons full of vanilla. And what I do is I mix the sugar, the eggs, and we must remember a cup of oil and a cup of orange juice, and make a mixture. I do the eggs, the orange juice, the oil, the sugar, and the nuts, and I mix it together, and then I add the flour. Now the first thing you're going to say to me is, well, what about the baking powder? Well, you can't add baking powder until you add flour. So as soon as I add flour, I add my baking powder. And then the next thing you're going to say to me is, well, how much flour? Well, that's the secret, my friends, because the recipe that was given to me over 40 years ago was wiffel sefanet, as much as it takes. So you need to add flour so that the dough looks like this, so you can maneuver it. My mother, I believe, made Mondel bread every other day because my father was blessed to be thin. And that's what he liked. He could sit down and eat 2 of these loaves all by himself with a big, huge cup of coffee, and he was very happy. These shall cook at 350 until they're brown. Some people like it more brown, some people like it a little less brown. I personally like the medium brown. Now, I also must tell you that Mondel bread can be made just like Baskin-Robbins with 31 flavors. Today I put in chocolate chips, and you can see them in here. I put in chocolate chips and butterscotch morsels. The Mondel bread is ready to come out. It's brown, but not too brown. It kind of splits open, just like when you make a loaf of bread. Now you have to let this cool a little bit before you slice it, so we'll do that for just a moment. But I just want to show you what the finished product looks like. When you make a whole recipe of the Mondel bread, you get 2, maybe 2.5 containers like this. When it's done and it's cool, I shake powdered sugar on it. It will stay 6 months in the refrigerator, although we're lucky if it lasts 6 days. But most important, there is nothing better than a hot cup of coffee, or a cup of tea, or in my house, a glass of latte, and a good piece of Mondel bread. Enjoy. Hesgezinterheid. Goodbye from Irma's Kitchen.
Morning, I'll be getting up. Morning, I'll be setting up.